Alright guys, we're back with another episode of Pimp My Crawler. So this is kind of build number 2 for Niklas. We just did his pink and black Datsun build. So this one was, basically it was already done. He just wanted to do something with the body, just kind of like paint it. But after we talked a little bit, he decided to go a different direction. So he thought that because we already got the big wheels on there and everything, that he wanted to go more Donk style. So we ended up, we're going to be using this body. I just painted this not too long ago, and he liked it, so we think we're going to put it on here. So this is going to be a little bit of work needed to get this on here. So I know I'm going to need some body mounts. I might have to mess with maybe not the wheelbase. I think it's just shock placements, just to get this up a little bit higher. I think how leaned over the shocks are isn't going to work that great for this body. But let's get this out of the way. I think where I would like to have it sit is almost the end of the fender, kind of with the shock. I'm sorry, with the slider. It doesn't even need to be that much. I just want to make sure it clears. So maybe just in front of it. So the servo mount, well, the servo itself is hitting right now. So we'll have to tuck that back. And so if we get rid of this mount, there's plenty of space behind it, it looks like. Oh, we might have to raise it. Not sure what mount that is. We might have to raise that or change out the mount, because I want to push that servo back, but it looks like the upper links is getting come in contact with that servo. But I'd like to tuck that back. You can see how far forward it is compared to, like, that has all these extra mounting holes. So hopefully we can push it back a little bit, and then also flip the steering arm from the behind the servo arm to the front of it, and that will give some more clearance. So I think I'm gonna have to mess with that first. Let me look into that, because this mount looks a little bit different than what I was expecting. We'll have to figure out, see if we can move it or not. So let me mess with that first, and I'll be back when we figure that out. Alright, so I started taking things apart to try to figure it out. So this is a ramp crab mount, and they have two different heights for the servo. So this was on the lower location, and it's going to be hard for you to see. Let me take this thing off so you can see it. So when it's on the lower section, you can see that's a lower screw. It's going to come in contact with that with the rear. I'm sorry, the upper links. So what I'll have to do is move it to the upper hole, and then it looks like that's high enough, and then I could shift the whole servo mount back. So I'm going to move it back, and I'll kind of show you what it looks like. I'm hoping that it's going to, when it's on full droop, that'll miss the links, which it might hit a little bit, but we'll see. I'll move this out. The other thing I might be able to do is change the position of the upper links maybe, to get a little more clearance, but we'll see. I'll move this back, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, before I put it all the shocks back together, I wanted to show you. So I moved it back to the very end. This is up a little bit higher, and you can see that still doesn't hit the links, so that's good. Looks like there's something loose. I think these screws are loose here. Yeah, these ones were loose. So the only other thing, like, it's first time using those the ramp crab mounts. The only thing I don't like about it is you can't push it back as much as you can with other mounts. I think the Endura one gives you more room pushing back. You can kind of see how the mount sticks out a lot. Maybe this side might be easier to see it. The mount overhangs the diff cover further. And like I'd want to push it back even further so that this arm is tucked behind the link. So it would be mounting like that. But that's as far back as this one goes. So we'll have to mount the arm, the steering arm behind the servo arm, which I guess is fine. It's not a big deal. As long as the screw doesn't hit the diff cover, so I'll have to see about that. If it does, then I'll probably end up changing out the servo itself. I mean, sorry, the servo mount. But it looks like from where it is now that this is going to be able to tuck kind of how I want it. In this, it looks like there's plenty of room. That's not going to hit. So I think it should be fine. So I'm going to try to get this arm back in and make sure everything clears. I'll put this the shock back in, and then we'll see what's next on it. Okay, so I ended up with the steering arm in the front of the servo arm. What was happening is when I put it in the back, it would when you turn it, it would end up hitting this like overhang of the servo mount. So I had to go front mount, which I think might be fine anyways. I think with the body on there, I'm pretty sure it's going to clear. So I'll figure that out. I did move the front shocks. I moved, they were mounted right here, and they were just leaning back too much. So I ended up putting on this, the long spot instead, and move the little chassis mount bracket there to hold it on there. That should be fine. I might have to move the receiver to figure out where that's going to go. But I think that should be fine. I think that'll work. I'm going to put the wheels back on. We'll see about the fitment. I think the only thing else I have to really do is move the back shocks, and then make some kind of mounts, or I have to see this body comes with the body mounts and everything, so I'll see if the body mounts line up with this chassis, and see if that works out. But I'll put this back together. I'm going to move this back a little bit, and then we'll see how the fitment is. All right, so we've got the wheels back on, and then I adjusted the back shocks a little bit. I just took off the unicorn mount I had and just put a chassis brace on there for now, just to shift it back. With these Super 8s, I gotta get the some washers for it. With the Super 8s, the mounts are so wide for the shocks that you can see them kind of curling in like that. So I'll have to get some spacers. Oh, actually, I didn't even notice he had spacers in the bottom. So I'll take these spacers out, and then might even move them up to the top to straighten them out. I think the front's the same way, just not as bad. Yeah, the front's the same. Doesn't have the spacers on the bottom, and then I'll add spacers on the top just to straighten it out a little bit. But that's good. I think I might have to widen the wheels a little bit. Actually pointing in a little bit, but I'll widen the wheels a little bit, because right now how it's sitting, I think that's kind of where it would want to be to clear here. I think it is going to end up hitting the body, and I don't want it to mess up the body too much. But this might sit a little bit higher too, so I'll have to figure that out. But I do want to sit this almost as far back as I can, which I think is about there. If I can, I think I might end up changing this whole thing out so I can sit it back even further, and that way it's not going to clear. It's not going to hit the body at all. It might look a little funky though. I'm going to get the body mounts and see how that's going to look with the mounts on there. Okay, so these are the mounts that come with the with the body. So it's just a couple universal ones. These look like the Yup Spec mounts, and then some other different mounts. But these should fit. I think they're just going to be some basic ones. Comes with the magnets and everything. And then also he has these wheel spacers, the hub spacers, to get the wheels pushed out a little bit more. He already has these. It's going to be tough to see. I think you might have seen it when I had the wheels off. There's some Injora spacers in there. I think they're the 5mm spacers. So I'm not sure if we're going to use these or not. If these work better, maybe we will. Oh, they're not made for this. I'm not actually sure what these spacers are made for, what wheels. But we'll see if we have to push the wheels out a little bit more. But I'm going to try to get some of these body mounts on and get this kind of where I want it to sit, and then we can kind of figure out the wheelbase and what we're going to do with that. All right, I think I got it kind of where I want it to sit. So it's going to be pretty much right there. I changed the shock position for the back a little bit more. I moved it up one more hole just to drop the back a little bit more. And then I have a magnet mount here and a magnet mount there. I think that works. I'm going to have to change out these bands, I think, in the front, because it's kind of, oh, it is drooping. They seem a little bit tight, but maybe they're fine. I got to find somewhere for the receiver to go, because right here it ends up hitting the body just a little bit. Maybe if we turn it the other way, I might be able to get it to stick right there like that. And then there's still room for his battery right here, and everything else should be fine. Yeah, I think it might still be in the way. I mean, if this can float right there, that might be fine too. I'll have to get the magnets on and see. It's possible just to have it kind of zip tied or something right there, as long as it's not going to hit anything. I might also take this off, this little brace here. It's not really necessary, and then it'll give room for the receiver to go right down there. But we'll see. That's not a big deal. I'm not too worried about that. So I think that's it. I think everything clears. This is still questionable, but I think we're all right, kind of where it is. I don't think I want to move the body back any further. I think that's good. The body might go up a little bit more, though. That's the only thing I'm not 100% sure about, if it's going to stay exactly where it is or if it's going to go up a little bit more. The wheels do hit the body, which I don't like. We'll see the front of this to see kind of, maybe there's something we could do to maybe widen the front just a little bit more. So he has these extensions. I have some here too. These might be even bigger. Maybe it's the same size. Yeah, these are the same size. I think they're +5. Maybe a little bit bigger. Yeah, and those seem to be the only ones I have, I think. I have these rainbow ones. I think these are the same size though. Yeah. One more. Yeah, they're all the same size. So the only other thing we could do is maybe something with the hub. I'm curious to see what these hub adapters are for. I'm not sure, but maybe I could do something with that. Maybe I could do my own hub And that way we can push it out just a little bit more. Because I think we just need a little bit more of clearance. Let's get that on there. I think we just need a little bit more clearance just to kind of get around it. Because it's just hitting right there, and I don't like that. That's going to ruin the paint right there in that corner. And if we're out just a little bit further, it might work. And also I don't know if you guys could see it. This is the wheels are kind of towed in. So the front is just off just a little bit. I'm not sure why it's like that. So I assume it's this arm, because it should be just a little bit wider. And I wonder if it was just a little bit wider, if that would give us the space we would need. I don't think so. I don't think that's going to make much of a difference to even worry about. Alright, so I'm going to have to try to figure something out just to get this a little bit wider. What I might do for now is, I wonder if I could do any kind of spacer just to see how wide I have to go. Oh, that barely reaches through this either. Also, well, that shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, what size is this? I'm gonna try to figure out how far out we have to go with the spacers to really to clear it. We might just need a little bit. I actually have some spacers here. Is this the right size? What are these ones for? Are these the same as this? Maybe these are... Oh, okay. So these spacers are for the 1.6 wheels. So these wheels here, that's the same bolt pattern as this. And these are the 1.8s. So let me take this apart. Let's see if we could make something work, or get a new, maybe I could just make my own hub spacer. Yeah, because this is just wider. That's all. So what I'm going to do is probably make a spacer like this, like a 2mm spacer that goes in between, that goes in between the wheel and the hub, and that will give me a little bit more space. And I could do this and just put them on all four wheels, but I think I'm going to start with this, which I think is 2mm. Yeah, 2mm. So I'm gonna design and print out these little guys and see if that works and gives us the clearance that we need. Alright, so I printed out these little spacers. See if you can see those things. So I got two different sizes. I did a 2mm thick and a 3mm thick, just to see what we're gonna do. And the 3mm ended up kind of the best to give it enough width. So I'm having the body kind of mounted right now, but you can see right there where it's hitting. Oh, hopefully you can see it. Where it's hitting the front bumper, and the 3mm just gives it enough to kind of clear. So this is getting glued right now, so I'm not going to mess with it too much. But that's kind of the stance that I'm going with right there. It's a little bit pushed back, but I want to make sure that it's going to clear and it's not going to really hit too much. So when I had these mounted, I was kind of looking at it, and I didn't like these what are they called, razor wires. I didn't like how they looked with this body. They probably work great. They seem like some good tires, but I didn't like how it looks. I don't think it fit build. So I got some Mavericks. These are the, I think 64, 63, 63 millimeter Mavericks. And these are going to look a lot better. So when I got these, I was thinking about it that maybe we'll go with more of, because this has like a gold undertone. Maybe we'll go with gold instead. So there we go. We got some gold Ram Crab, the 1.6 wheels, same size as these ones. So some 1.6s, and I put the 3 millimeter spacer on this. So these wheels actually come with the little spacers already. These are, let me check. I think it's either a millimeter. It's about 2 millimeters. Maybe a tiny. Maybe I did mine 2.5s. Oh, these are about the same. Yeah, so about 2 millimeters. So these are a little bit thicker, and they go. These just kind of bolt onto the back of the face. So what I'm doing is that spacer is going to go in between, like that. So that's how this will go anyways. If you wanted a spacer, you put that in between there anyways. So with that, because these are a little bit bigger, the screws that come with it, I'll have to just put in some longer screws instead, longer hardware. So that's what this is. So this is with the spacers already in them. So I just got one more that I'll do. I got the other ones right here. These are all set. So I'll do the last one. I'll get that one going, and then I'll swap out the wheels. This is going to need another, probably another 4 or 5 hours before I could kind of mess with it. And once that's done, I could kind of mess with the ride height too if I want to make any adjustments. And it seems I have this pushed back as far as possible. It seems like that servo is going to clear perfectly fine there. So I don't think we have to do anything with that. So I'll get this on, I'll mount it, and we can see how it looks, and then we'll go from there. I hope you guys enjoyed that the run footage. I gotta say that this was a lot more fun to drive than I was expecting. I'm not too into the Donk style, but this was actually a lot of fun. I think I might build something like this for myself too. It worked a lot better than I was expecting. It was cool. It's funny just seeing these on the rocks, seeing it crawl around and everything, and hitting basically doing the lines that it could with it. But so I think from the last video, I just mounted the wheels and tires. These are the 64 millimeter Mavericks that I cut up and put on these wheels. Everything else is pretty much the same. The only other thing I did is when I was testing it out in my home course, the backwood was dragging a little bit on the ground when it was like really up high. And I didn't want it to mess up the paint, so I just took a piece of aluminum tube and just cut it to length and then glued it on there. So it's just a bunch of glue right on there. And that way, when it's dragging up, I don't know if you guys can see it. When it's dragging up, it's going to hit that tube first before it hits the body. And I did drag it a couple times on the crawling, so it seemed to work. So that was the only change I did to the truck since then. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. I put some bands on the rear also, because it felt like it was unloading a little bit too fast. So I put the bands on the rear. But that's it. Everything else is basically the same. This thing did really good. It was, like I said, it was fun to watch. Ooh, that screw's backing out. It was fun to watch it on the rocks and everything, kind of crawling around. Just it's funny just seeing the size of this. But there we go. Everything else worked great. These wheels I haven't had any issues with them before, so they work really good. I think I like the gold on this. I think that goes with the body really well. The clearance, you do lose a little bit of clearance with the body, but I don't think I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't cut it up anymore. Yeah, it's just a little bit, but it did great. I mean, it still crawled over everything. It didn't really actually. It did get hung up a lot. You'll probably see it on the videos, but the rear diff cover, the rear diff really kind of sticks down and it grabs everything. So it was pulling, like the front would have to really yank it over to get it cleared up. I think that was the only issue I had with it, was if it straddled something and got stuck, it would get stuck on that diff cover and it'd have some trouble pulling over. The other thing was I was actually worried about the wheels getting caught on the body, but it actually worked out well. I didn't hear it hitting anything, so that was good. Everything else was good. I actually rolled it once, and I was worried about it, but there was 0 scratches, so I guess I put enough clear coat on this one, so you don't even see anything. So I was happy about that. I actually got nervous. Let me put it on the scales. I haven't weighed it yet. Let's see what this thing weighs. All right, we're on the scales. No battery installed. So we're at 55 front, 45 rear, and 496 total. Okay, so 55 front. Probably use a little bit more weight up front, or maybe less weight in the back. They have the patties in the back here, these big ones. I don't know if they're necessary because it has the aluminum axles anyways that will help pull the weight down. I would say maybe get rid of those, and that would give a little bit extra weight in the front. But I didn't see any issue with it. Like I said, the only problem I had was the rear diff getting caught up. But other than that, everything else was great. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I think I'm actually going to build something like this. Maybe not full Donk style, but I like just doing like this kind of a body like this. I know. So this body, I don't know if I ever mentioned it. This is the comp cut Caprice from Virginia's for low riders. Is that what it is? Virginia's for low riders? I think it is. Yeah. He just came out with some muscle cars and stuff, so I might do something like that. I know Trey from 24 Yup, he just did the Gran Torino, and I liked how his looked. I might do something similar to that maybe bigger wheels, maybe just kind of a little bit bigger, but yeah, this was fun. This was fun doing it, and it was actually it was pretty cool seeing how good it did on the rocks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like I said, this was fun to do. I actually ran, I think I think 2.5 packs at least through this thing. I had a lot of fun. That's the most I've done on one of these Pimp My Crawler builds. I usually run maybe a pack through it, just kind of see how it goes and stuff. But this one was a lot of fun. So hope you guys enjoyed it too, and we'll see you next time.